We have another 30 minutes before these bars close on the Nasdaq and the Dow. We still have an hour and a half on the crude trade. It's got $7 of risk on it. We're looking for it to go down. We're long on gold. Long on the futures has already made money, but we're long on two binaries that end at 130. The total risk on those is 17. We have profit targets at 30 and 25. Anytime they're coming off of the 180s, then we know we have to be out on a daily. Whereas if we're trading the 3-minute, we could be out for 2 hours. A lot of those I don't type up in the Skype room because I don't have time a lot of times. It's moving too fast. You're getting a long entry now on crude on that 3-minute chart. I would not take that in the binaries, and I would not take it on the futures because you're right at the point of making another magenta peak. We're going to get retracement now to this ATR at least, which is 1057. But remember, on the binary, we're out all day on that. I'm not interested in the euro because we could not get a small risk on that one. And it's within 10 ticks of the ATR. It's not enough for me to want to trade that. We're probably going to get a magenta peak on the NASDAQ and on the Dow this morning. We would have to wait for the setup on the 3-minute though. If it goes through the yellow dot on the Dow or the NASDAQ, you'll notice that you get an 80x entry on the 45-minute. On the Dow, I'm going to automate that with, I agree. That way it just brings it to my attention that it's coming in. Notice that I have account confirmation on because you'll get a lot of trade setups. And what you want to do is make sure that your setup is valid. In other words, we have the magenta peak up here in order to take an ATR trade down there. I'm not really seeing anything I want to trade. You are getting another long entry on the futures, but we're already in the binaries. We really don't have any significant market reports today, but I think the IMF is supposed to decide today whether to include the Chinese currency as one of the major currencies. I don't know if they've decided that yet. I know they were expected to announce it today. We also have the OPEC meeting today. While we're waiting, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee and then I'll be back. Okay, let's see. I ignored that order because it was the exit from this buy over here. We flipped the ATR on the Dow. We have to go back and test the ATR before we can enter that one. Let's see if we got anything over here. Nothing over here. You can see both of the Nasdaq and the Dow orders were filled, and that's anticipating the magenta peak on the 45-minute Dow and Nasdaq. You can also see that it's at an ATR over here, so that should push it down. Let's see if it does. On the binary side, I just didn't see one that I was comfortable with because your ATR over here is at 777, and I couldn't find a cheap binary, so I didn't enter a binary. Okay. The profit target on the Dow and the Nasdaq future contract would be 30 ticks from entry. Yeah, I didn't like the prices on the binaries, so I didn't do the binary on the Dow or the Nasdaq. And if you see, you had the seller step in on this bar. They also stepped in on this bar. Again, it's just knowing that the 180 was at an ATR. And at least you typically will get a pop down off of that ATR. That's all. And this is more in line with the way that I trade, Christian, because I don't just trade binaries and I don't just trade futures. I trade both. Whichever one is better for me, quite honestly. Gold was probably one example I would have done both because I'm out all day on gold. I don't have to worry about that binary. I don't even have to look at it again. Right now, if I was in the futures on this, I would be watching the 45-minute because that price bar needs to come down on both of these. Remember, we entered based on this ADX peak coming in because it's right at the yellow dot. It's kind of a slow morning. I really want the Dow and the Nasdaq to break these congestion dots. Good morning, Dave. Let's see. We're short the Dow. We're short the Nasdaq on the futures. I didn't see any on the binaries I would want. And then on the gold 180, we're actually long on the binaries. We have two binaries. One that we got in 1062.5. We had $10 of risk on it. 1064, $7 of risk. We also did one on crude for 41.24, and it had actually a little bit less than $7, but we'll say $7. Exciting morning. The gold futures is already taking profit if you were trading the futures. And excuse me, on the 12-minute charts, I've got my profit target set at 40 points, or 40 ticks. Excuse me. Does that catch up? We have a profit target on gold. One for 1062.5 is at 30. The 1064 is at 25. I want these congestion dots to break, on the 3-minute Dow and 3-minute Nasdaq, Dave. That would be ideal. Because then it would take out that little yellow dot up there. And it's sitting right on the yellow dot. It just hasn't come below it. And Dave, on the gold, because we're doing that 180, we're out all day until 1:30 on the binaries. Come to mama, big boys. This tells you that your ADX just triggered too. That number 3 up here, that's what tells you the short just triggered on the 45-minute. Yellow dot just gave me a heads up. We did have one that was generated, Dave, on the euro, but it was 10 ticks away from the ATR. Not one that interests me. Okay, the Dow was able to break through that congestion dot, so I want it to keep coming down. Profit target on the 3-minute is 30 ticks from entry. On the futures, yeah, on the spot you don't have it. And I don't like the way that that's trading's just not moving. It was a nice short earlier back here. Yeah, there's your short there. That was on that bar. Unless the yen's really moving, it's not one that I like too much. I mean, it's been a slow morning too. Nah, it's really not. You know, when you get these that are within 10 to 20 ticks of the ATR, I don't like them. And I would definitely filter those out. There are so many freaking setups now, Dave, that filtering is pretty easy. The NASDAQ needs to continue down. You've got the magenta dot. That's what we anticipated. We're getting it. But it's got to continue down. It's not continuing down yet. Well, it's just slow. I'll put it that way. But it's slow morning. So even on the 3 minute, you're getting gaps on the chart. I normally don't trade gappy charts, but the setup was good. It's just telling you it's a very slow market. See how you're getting the magenta peak coming in now? That's what I wanted to see. Do y'all see that? And the entry on the Dow Remember, it was a limit order, so I know it entered exactly at the limit order. Was 838 was where it was filled. Well, no, just, yep. It was actually filled at 840 because we got in 2 ticks earlier. It should come out if it touches 810, which is down here. We should come out of that trade. Over on the Dow, 46.99. So it should come down 30 ticks from that. That's what my expectation would be. If you wanted to manage your trade even tighter, you could also use a visual stop. I'll take that off. And what you want to do is offset the high of the previous bar. So if it was to touch this line, then you would be out. I think the Nasdaq's fixing to do it, yeah. The Nasdaq is 45.96. You would want 2 ticks off of that 49.50. That would be here on the Nasdaq. Try to get it on there. Style. Put it red. And that's the way you could trail your stop. Does everybody understand that? I would not enter that buy on the euro. It's trying to retrace back to this ATR. It's just not enough room to take profits there. You can't pull your stop down anymore on the Dow or the Nasdaq. I think we got about 7 ticks to the profit target on the Nasdaq. Make sure I've got my profit target set to 30 ticks. Yep. We have nice volume on the Dow. Not so much on the Nasdaq, but we do on the Dow. And the U.S. market has opened. It moved too quick to give me my profit target. I'm seeing if it comes back. All right, I'm going to take profits on that one. Try and see if it comes back to my 30 ticks. Usually I have the matrix open for these. And I know 150 gives me my profit target. So it's only one contract. Come on. 3 more ticks. Okay, we got filled on one of the gold positions on the binaries. The 1062 got filled. So we made $20 on that one. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close the Dow for what I got. Not a bad trade. Let's see if we get filled on the 1064 gold binary. It needs to go up just a little bit more to give us a profit target. Our profit target's 25, so it's got another $10. We got another 475 to go. Come on, gold, you can do it. Let's think it's at the ATR now, so we're going to have to exit the other one. Yeah, I'm going to exit the other one with $13 of profit. And be sure to cancel your order on that. Let's see. I think I got $12.50 in profit, which wasn't bad because we only paid $7. It's not bad. Now, do y'all understand how I use the 180 to identify the trade on the Dow 45-minute early? It just makes it easier to see the strategy on there. That's all. Any questions? To me, it was kind of easy. Any questions? Is my microphone on? The Dow and the Nasdaq was at the ATR on the 180-minute chart. Do you see that? And I knew that because I had the 180 open. Okay. All right. At the same time, do you see how close price was to that yellow dot? I knew. Okay. Because this is so close to the yellow dot, what's going to happen? a magenta peak's going to come in. We got the setup on the 3-minute, on both 3 minutes, on the Dow and on the Nasdaq, right? That was just utilizing all the information I had at my disposal. And we didn't have a lot of risk on binaries. Those are the ones I like to do. Does everybody understand it? What happens when price approaches an ATR on the 180? It's going to bounce off of the ATR, right? That's what we say. That's what we expect. And at the same time, the 45-minute was going to give us a magenta peak to the downside. Okay, I'll take that. Any questions? Do you understand it now, Larry? It means you're going to get 80x peak. It's something I actually came up with for the strategy, Larry. It just offsets the high or low to let me know we'll get a magenta peak. But I don't have to worry about missing a trade because I've been real stressed over, oh, I might miss a trade. I might miss a trade, so I got to get in early. I don't do that anymore. You wouldn't have it on your chart, Larry. I'm the only one that has it. Yeah, I traded that one. He stutters. Strategy. It's because I got both workspaces open. I'm the only one that has the yellow dot. And all it is, I mean, you can visually do it on your chart. I'll set the low or the high by 5 ticks. So in other words, I just had to do it so I could see if the strategy was working correctly. All right, so the low of that bar is 826, okay? Draw your line at here, 823. Do I have that on? What do I have it on? Hold on, let me look. Yeah, 5 ticks. So actually 21. That's where your magenta peak will come in. And if you were watching, that's exactly where it came in at. It had to go below it a little bit. That's how. Yeah, it stutters. Well, that was an easy $300 this morning trading one contract between gold, the Dow, and the Nasdaq. The futures and the binaries. Yep. The ADX will make a magenta peak if the previous low was taken out by 5 ticks. On any time frame, regardless of what time frame it is. 1440, 5 ticks. 720, 5 ticks. 180, 5 ticks. 5 ticks all the way across. Any other questions this morning? Slow morning, but we got it. That's all that matters. I'm going to disable this because I don't need to see it now. Any other questions, guys? Well, if there's no other questions, I've traded and I'm done for the day. At least for the room. All right. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Same time, same place. You too. Yes, Larry. Did you have a question? Which multi-charts version? I would do the 64-bit, Larry. No, .NET does not let third-party indicators work within that platform, so you have to get the multi-chart 64 standard platform.